Hello ladies and gents, Robbie Turner from Axon Property Group. Hope you're having an awesome day. I tell you what, we just finished doing a quick little version of our Axon morning brief where myself and Ryan come in here and basically wrapped up what's been going on inside the Axon ecosystem over the last 30 days. And I tell you what, it's been phenomenal. So make sure you check that out. It'll be sort of landing when, Daniel, when's that one going to land?
That's going to land next week.
Early next week. So yeah, Axon morning brief. We basically spoke for about 45 minutes and encapsulated a bunch of stuff. Quick little headline, veteran games are happening this weekend, of course. So those that don't know, Heston was a cadet of mine at Duntroon. I was only there for the last 6 months or so. Clearly him and I served together at 2 Commander Regiments, so we are really good mates. And now as sort of veteran entrepreneurs forging our own way in this space here, yeah, we connect a lot. Axon's been one of the founding members of the veteran games, so we're in our 3rd year now and we'll continue to do so for as long as that goes on. So if you're in the Gold Coast, head out to the Narrabri Valley on Saturday and Sunday to go and watch a bunch of able-bodied veterans go through and put themselves through the paces there about what goes on out at the veteran games. But I'm here today basically to answer any of your questions. I've got Daniel behind the camera here. He hasn't got a face for radio. He should be in front of the camera like I have here, but he decides to sort of sit himself behind the screen. He's got a bunch of questions that some of you have sent in over the last little while. Full on Ridgy-Dig. I have not seen these questions, so you're going to see me now answer them on the spot. And I also won't bullshit to you, and if I don't know the answer, I'll let you know that too. All right, rock and roll. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Not a face for radio, but a personality for the editing room. So first one we've got up is from Jonas in Sydney. I always hear people talking about offset accounts and redraw, but what's the actual difference?
Yeah.
Does one make more sense for investors?
Well, they both, in principle, Jonas, they provide the same function. They, you don't pay as much interest on your loan when you've got an offset account or a redraw account in place. That's in principle. Another in principle place would be the redraw account sits inside the loan. So it's not as easy to access. It's lack of flexibility, as opposed to an offset account, sort of as a term suggests there, sits outside the loan, and it is a full transactional account, which you can basically access at any time of the day. So yeah, that's sort of the two main reasons there. I don't see there's any real critical primary difference from a cash flow investment perspective, because they both pretty much provide the same function. I just like flexibility and ease and access of funds. So I personally choose to use an offset account. Consult your finance broker for specific advice. I love chucking in that little sort of catch-all, but that's how the world works these days. Hey, anyway, next one.
Cool. All right, so next one we have up is, when the bank does a valuation, how much does that really affect what equity I can pull out? Like, could a low valuation stop me from buying my next place? That's Luke in Melbourne.
So Luke in Melbourne, a low valuation can stop you buying your next place. So yeah, this has got a few layers to it, this one. So there's a mortgage security valuation, which is a bank valuation, or a real estate valuation. And really we need to focus on the mortgage security valuation, because it doesn't really matter what a real estate agent may sell your property for. It matters what the bank values your property, and that effectively works out how much usable or available equity you have. You know, when I was in the military, 1 + 1 = 2. It's a pretty black and white system, and I'm sure all of you can relate to that. If you do come from a military background or professional services background, emergency services, whatever that looks like. And it's been the most frustrating and the most difficult thing for me to wrap my head around now, 12 years working in the industry. Yes, it was, a couple of weeks ago was my 12-year anniversary of handing back my ID card. Geez, that time's gone fast, but a lot has happened during that period as well. I digress. When the mortgage broker or finance broker goes and gets 3 different valuations for the same property, I can almost guarantee there'll be 3 different answers. How is that the case? It's supposed to be a science. The valuers do a university degree to say we know what we're doing, but they use different comparable sales. They may use an inferior property, they may use an older property, they may use a property which is sort of not a direct comparison. So yeah, it's just been a weird space. So that's not only the valuation on the property you're purchasing, but Luke, was it? Luke,
yes.
Yeah, Luke has said
Luke.
also, what about my property that I've already got? How does that affect how much valuation, how much equity I have? So I think a smart practice would be if that, first and foremost, anyone that's got a mortgage on their loan should be reviewing their loan status and their loan sort of situation, interest rates and other types of products and features pretty much on a yearly basis with your finance broker. And if you are looking to extract as much equity as you can to buy another property, get your finance broker to do 2 or 3 different valuations on your current property. Because if one comes in at 700 and that only gives you 20 grand of usable equity, and another valuation comes in at 800, then you've got a lot more equity that you can play with. Guess what? You should consider refinancing to the bank, which gives you a higher valuation because you've got more equity to access. That probably didn't come across as clear as mud. But yeah, it's vital that you use your finance broker and put a couple of chips on the table, if I can use that sort of roulette analogy there, because one thing I can guarantee is that the 3 valuations that come back will not be the same. So just, strap yourselves in for that. Hope that makes sense, Luke. Thanks for the question, mate.
Awesome, made sense to me.
And right now, when I can't see anyone else, you're the only person that matters.
Okay, with HPAS, so an entitlements question here. You get this lump sum, but how much do you actually end up with once tax comes out?
Yeah, so HPAS is effectively the Defence Force version of the first homeowners grant. It's a one-off payment for you to be able to buy your own home in your current posting locality with 12 months tenure left. So there are some sort of qualifying periods there. I'm sort of setting the scene now for those that may or may not know what the HPAS is, then at least now that's a bit of an idea. It's the $16,900 and something, the better part of 17 grand. Let's sort of round it up for a little bit there. But that is a pre-tax amount. A little bit like many of you I've coached over the years that have got a retention bonus coming your way or a retention benefit. That 35, 50, 70 grand, whatever it looks like, depending on your rank and trade, is a retention benefit. But you don't get all of that. Whatever your individual tax bracket is at the time of that extra money arriving in your bank account, that'll be taken into account. So generally we bank on, all right, if you're getting around about 17 grand as a one-off payment with your HPAS, you might get 11 or 12 grand back. Clearly, if you're in a higher tax bracket, you get less, but if you're in a lower tax bracket, you get more. So, if you bank on 10, 11, 12 grand for your HPAS, then that's going to be coming your way. And of course, depending on when you apply for it and whether you're buying an established property, doing a land and build project, you might be able to use that money for your deposit and costs as well. Hopefully that helps. Who was that? Who answered that question?
Cool. That was just Isaac. We don't know where he is.
Okay. No worries, Isaac, from wherever you are.
Unknown. Okay. All right. Everyone says to refinance to keep growing, but when's the right time to actually do it? Is it based on the market or your own situation? This is Alex from the same place as Isaac. Oh,
Alex is sitting next to Isaac. Yeah. Fantastic, lads. When's the best place to refinance? I sort of spoke about it a little bit before, and this is, again, me not knowing what the questions are. So generally, as a rule, 2 things. If there is a significant change in your circumstances, if you've got a property coach working on your team, get with them, recreate the scenario so the finance broker knows what new situation they're now assessing for you. But if you're just doing things as a Highlander or by yourself there, then generally every 12 months you should be reaching out to your finance broker and go, hey, is my loan amount, is my loan interest rate and the other products and features that go with your loan and the credit card that may or may not be attached, is that still competitive in the market? Certainly there is movement with interest rates right now. This is a live video, so I'm not sort of speaking for stuff 6 months ago.
Our next question is on interest rates.
Sorry. There's movement in the interest rate space at the moment, as opposed to this time last year, we were in our 8th or 9th month of no movement. So, there has been some movement in that space. So, just engage with your professionals and just continually update your plan to optimize things. Don't just be, who was it? Might have been Yui or something like that. That guy with a Scottish accent, the little dog that bloody jumps around. They had a skeleton sitting there I'm still with the same insurer from when I was fucking 20 years old. You don't need to be with the same bank the whole time through. Loyalty gets you fucking nowhere in the finance space. The bank doesn't ring you and go, hey, we've got this new product which is going to save you interest. You've got to be on top of it. You've got to work with your professionals. You've got to run out and seek the information. So, loyal. I know this is a difficult space to be in if you're a military member where loyalty is massively high. So it is to me, even though I've been out for all this time. But work with your finance broker to seek the best deal every 12 months or so. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hope that helps.
Yes.
Pass it on to Isaac if he wasn't listening. Kick him under the table.
All right. This one is from Tanya in Ipswich.
Awesome.
Interest rates haven't moved for months now.
They sort of have.
Yeah. Does that mean it's a good time to buy, or are prices still too high?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Just back to my previous point about interest rates. There's been 3 interest rate reductions this year. Having gone through virtually the previous 12 months where there was no interest rate movement at all. And of course, a lot of pundits, when I say pundits, the experts and financial analysts think that there will be likely another interest rate drop within the next couple of months, and if not, certainly in the first 2 months of next year. No worries. So there's movement in the interest rate space. Thankfully, the direction is down sideways, or perhaps down a bit more. What it means, mate, and I spoke about it in the morning brief we did earlier, when there is more consumer confidence based on the lowering or the direction or the sentiment of what's going on in the fiscal space from an interest rates point of view, all that means there's going to be more people that can enter or re-enter / grow their portfolio. What does that mean, Tanya, is it? That means that there's going to be more people that want to buy, which means there's more demand, which means there's buoyancy in the market. So, look, people that are trying to understand the right time to enter the market or grow their portfolio, I think that's a wasted activity. Buy as soon as you're able to. The sooner you get in, we'll put it this way, if you're not in the property market, how much money are you making from the property market? Fucking donut. But if you're in the market already, at least you've still got some movement happening with your portfolio. And if you're able to buy another property and just like, oh, I'll just wait another 6 months, what the fuck are you waiting for? Like, just get in whenever you can, because that's going to give you the best overall long-term benefit. And if you still got that property in 15 years' time, who's going to give a fuck about the first 6 months? Nobody. So get in as soon as you can. As long as you're not working outside the constraints of the left and right of arc of what your borrowing capacity is. And again, you're working with your coaching team and working with the finance broker to know that it is feasible and suitable for you to do so. Rock and roll. Hope that helps.
Someone put in perspective that really made sense to me. It's like worrying on your takeoff when you're running a marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who said that? Great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It was a runner.
Yeah. Me, I know you don't believe me, but me and Mary marathons, we're over. Yeah.
All right, mate. That's all we got
all right,
today.
That's half an hour gone fast.
Yeah. No, 15 minutes. We're doing these 15 minutes. That's why it fell fast.
It's all right. I normally do my best work in less than 15 minutes, but if it's 15 minutes today, then here we are. Hope to see you again next